Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the 21 Minutes or Less podcast. I'm one of your co hosts, Keisha Milana.
I, and I am your other co-host, Nikia Smith.
And today we are talking all about avoiding loneliness. So I know it's the new year, it's 2023. So this could be a really joyous time for a lot of people, but it could also be a really lonely or isolating time for a lot of other people who may be mourning, who may be grieving, or just, maybe they had a hard year. They're not excited for the new year. So this episode is going to give you some tips to be able to try to not bask in your loneliness and try to just reach out and find some communities to support you. So, the first thing that you can do is exactly that. You can find community. And I feel like this is super important because even me, I wasn't necessarily lonely because I was grieving or anything. But when I moved to Atlanta, I was really lonely just because I only knew my classmates. And then I finally met Nakia. So that was cool because, okay, we worked together. But besides like classmates and workmates or peers, I was really lonely. Like I didn't go out a lot. I didn't have a lot of like people to hang out with outside of a school environment. So you never know what could be a lonely or isolated environment for you. And I know education in school can be a big one for a lot of people, especially if you're far away from home. So yeah, the first thing you can do is find your community. And this can be through social media, finding the people that you might be able to link with and support each other online. It could be Facebook, those people who always comment on your status, the people who like your stuff on IG. You never know how much y'all can actually connect beyond just social media. So you should definitely try to form a community with those people, um, especially family too. I know sometimes family can be a tough one for some people, but they really are there to support you. So you might want to reach out to one of those cousins you haven't reached out to in a while, or just try to connect with somebody who maybe you only see them around the holidays. Try to extend that relationship beyond just the holidays. So I feel like those are two good places to start: social media and with your family.
Yes. I also would like to add another alternative, which is called Silverline. So Silverline is a free and confidential opportunity for you can talk to someone about how you're feeling or anything else you'd like to talk about. This does not substitute therapy. So keep that in mind. So this is just a free resource for you to reach out to somebody if you just need somebody to talk to, and it's confidential, and you don't if you want to talk about something that you don't want anybody to, I guess, relay back to another person, but you can't get in contact with a therapist at the moment, this can be a good alternative. Also, people always talk about social media, but LinkedIn is a really top tier social media platform that many people don't talk about. And a lot of things that I see that are happening now is called either tea talks or coffee chats. So this is just you connected with somebody in your industry or an industry that you want to get into, and it's completely free. You just get to know one another and network, and maybe a job can come out of it, or maybe just find a new friend. And of course, our old faithful Meta, Facebook. There are tons of free Facebook groups on Facebook that you can just whatever topic you desire, you can find it on there. And so those are just some other alternatives you can think about when you're trying to find community. And not to mention networking as well, whether that's in person or online. There are a lot of opportunities for you to do that.
Yes, I definitely agree about the Facebook support groups, especially if you have like a certain community you belong to. Like if you have any maybe illnesses, like they probably have diabetes support groups. If you have ADHD, I know for sure they have some really good support groups. and any other ailments that you might have, especially because that could be isolating, especially if your family or your friends don't know about your condition or it's something you want to keep private. A support group could be a really good way for you to connect with people who are going through the same things you're going through. And then LinkedIn is a gem. I recently just started being on LinkedIn more. And a lot of people are just super into their careers, super into like learning how to build new skills, super into professional growth. So I'm loving it over there. I feel like it's especially good if you're looking for opportunities and, being able to find some things outside of your normal industry. So I definitely support those as well.
So another thing that you can do outside of building community is going to concerts. This is one of the things that I love to do. You can go to a concert with other people or you can go by yourself and then in hopes that you meet somebody there. So there are like different things you can do. Concerts for me are very huge. I have both been with other people, but if I couldn't find anybody to go to a concert with me, I went by myself. For example, J. Cole had a concert. I wasn't missing it for nobody. And then I drove, I think, an hour and 30 minutes out just to go to his concert. And I enjoyed myself. I had good seats and everything. So don't be afraid to just go out by yourself. But even though you're by yourself, you are still in community because there's other people around you there enjoying the music with you and vibing.
Yes, I have went to concerts by myself and with other people. And honestly, I did meet some good people when I went by myself. It was the Drake concert from his album Scorpion. Everybody act like they didn't want to go, but I was not missing that concert, like you said, for anything in the world. So I went, and that was honestly the best night of his whole concert. It was the closing night. He had Gucci, he had Lil Baby, he had Carisha, he had everybody. So I was not gonna miss that. But I also have recently went to a concert with my friends, and that was cool too. It's just about what you looking for, and for sure y'all gonna have something in common because y'all at the same concert. So yeah, I definitely support that. Another thing that you can do is also volunteer. I feel like volunteering is a good way to not just, not be lonely, not be lonely, but it's also a good way to give back to the community at the same time. So for me, I know recently I was volunteering at Head Start, which is with like preschoolers or before preschool, like 3 to 5 year olds. And it was very rewarding. I felt good every single time I left. They were a lot at times to handle, but it's so fun like watching little kids play with each other and watching them grow up. And a lot of times they looking for volunteers because the education systems, even at like preschool, are super, super understaffed right now. So a lot of times all you have to do is like go get a background check and then they'll clear you to volunteer. You can come in as much or as little as you want. And you just help with regular stuff like helping them pass out lunch, getting them ready for nap time, helping them in the playroom when they want to play with people and maybe everybody don't want to play with other kids. Maybe they want to throw the ball back and forth with you. So it was really, really fun. I've also volunteered at schools to be like a cheerleading coach. So if you could get involved with like extracurricular activities, that's also a great place. But then even if you don't go to a school, something like the Goodwill could be interesting because you get to see the behind the scenes of stores that you shop at and still be helping the community and learn about the donation process and learn about, how do they group the different clothing? How do they price it based on the donations? So whatever you looking for, whatever type of volunteering you want to do, I feel like it's so many different organizations that's always looking for people to come help. And you will find some really good friends or people that you could connect with and talk to even outside the volunteerism.
Yes, I totally agree. I myself am on the board of directors for a nonprofit that helps law students get into law school and find mentors. So I volunteer my time doing that. And then I recently just volunteered for the Black Doctoral Network conference where I helped the conference and I was a judge for the poster that the undergraduate and graduate students were presenting. So yes, you do form community when you volunteer, because I get to form community with the people that's on the board of directors with me. And then for the conference, not only was I able to form community with the committee members, but I was able to meet other graduates and undergraduate students at the conference and just see what they were excited about as far as academia.
Yes, and I feel like when you volunteer and get those like community service hours in, or even if you're not doing it for a specific cause, if you want to go to some type of professional, organization or affiliation or higher education place, after you volunteer there, it can still be a good opportunity for you to be able to get someone to write you a letter of recommendation that you might have met while you were volunteering. So it's not just helping the community, but you also helping yourself later down the line, and you don't even realize it when you're doing it because you're just signing up because it's something you want to do out of the kindness of your heart, I hope. But then down the line it can still be beneficial for you, so it's like a win-win regardless of the facts. But
Yes. And some volunteer opportunities can turn into potential jobs. Just
yes,
to put that out there. You just never know. Another way you can avoid loneliness is to travel. I'm always gonna go travel.
yes,
Now, that's whether you travel by yourself or travel with a group of people. My suggestion, if you travel by yourself, is to find something that's either all inclusive or do something like a cruise,
mm,
because it's kind of like you won't be as fearful to like venture off, especially if it's your first time doing it. You just want to get your feet wet.
yeah,
So look for something that's all inclusive, or look for a cruise where everything is in one space, so you don't have to really go far. And as far as traveling with a group, I mean, just have an itinerary.
yes,
That's the only tip I have for traveling with a group of people, is having an itinerary. Make sure y'all vibe. Make sure it's gonna be good vibes, and then just make sure y'all on the same page. Like, you don't want to travel with a group of people and you the type of person where you don't really like want to do anything. You just want to sit back and relax. And but you travel with a group of people that like want to go out all the time. That's not a good mix. So
right.
just be cognizant of like the vibe of the group, like what's the tone, what are y'all going to be doing, and go from there.
That is a good point. I definitely want to back that last point up because if you go with a group and the vibes is two different vibes, you're not gonna be avoiding loneliness. You're gonna be back lonely because now you don't want to mesh with the group and you don't want to do nothing that the group want to do. So you just in your room by yourself, or you off doing your own activities, and you could have did this without being with the group. So definitely pick some people to travel with that you mesh with. And I have traveled by myself and with the group before. I definitely enjoyed the freedom of traveling by myself because I'm only doing stuff that I want to do. And then you can meet some really good people. I've definitely met some people traveling that I ended up networking with or still talking to years and years after the fact. So I definitely can vouch and say that just because you go somewhere alone don't mean you're gonna be lonely. You can meet new people while you're there and go doing things you like to do. Once you go and do that, you're gonna find other people. Let's say you like to go out for tacos, you at the taco spot. Now you meet somebody else. They sitting there by themselves eating tacos. Now y'all talking, learning about each other, creating a friendship, creating somebody you can network with. So definitely, I love to travel. Do you have any travel goals for this year, Nakia?
So my travel goals for this year, it's probably gonna be more of like staycations.
Mm,
I do want to go on a cruise though. So I am going to think about maybe going on a cruise, but there's like a healing retreat that I want to try. And
mm-hmm.
then there is a cabin trip that I want to do. So maybe three this year.
Okay, that's cool. I'm about to go to Costa Rica literally 2 days from now. So that's gonna be my first trip. And I'm actually going there to volunteer with my school. So I don't know anybody that's going on the trip, like we met for pre-trip meetings. So this is the perfect example of me about to go and travel and do some service, and hopefully I'll come back with some friends or meet some people while I'm there that are also volunteering. So that's my first trip. I know I want to go to Montgomery for homecoming, for Alabama State homecoming. They haven't put out the schedule yet for 2023, but when it drops, I will be looking at Airbnbs. I already told my travel crew we going to homecoming this year. So um, I'm going to Alabama. I'm going to Atlanta for a conference. That's gonna be good. And then I'm finally finna move all my stuff from Atlanta. My stuff in the storage for a whole year. I'm finna go get my stuff. That's all I know for sure. But I definitely want to go on a cruise and go out the country at the end of the year, like close to my birthday. So we're gonna see. But if nothing else, I want to go to try to go to Puerto Rico because like you don't even need your passport though. So it's like for the people who I can't go, don't have my passport. Okay, you could go to Puerto Rico though. So maybe killing two birds with one stone, go on a cruise to Puerto Rico. But we're gonna see.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna speak that into existence.
Yes, because my passport is about to expire, so I have to hurry up and get that renewed. And in order to like do it expeditiously, it's like very good for you to go ahead and have a trip planned so
Yeah,
you can get it back quickly versus you not having a trip plan and they just give it to you whenever. So
right.
yeah, I definitely have to plan something soon because it will expire. I did just come back from Florida, so but yeah.
Yes. Well, yes. I hope all our travel goals come true. And another thing you can do to avoid loneliness is to find you a new hobby. So, a hobby does not mean a new side hustle. It does not mean a new business. Find you something that you can do that's just purely fun, not to make a living, not to earn an income, something that it could be good for your body, something good for your mind, something that's low cost, easy to implement. So just as some examples, personally that I want to look into for this year, well, one is yoga. Y'all know I love yoga, so it's not really a new hobby for me, but maybe it could be one for you. And it's different types of yoga. It's hot yoga, it's slow flow, it's aerobic yoga. So don't be afraid to try different types of yoga too, because I know it's some yogas that I don't really like, but then it's some that I love. So find what works for you. Another thing is journaling. I know people, I feel like journaling gets so much hate from people, but journaling is such a good way to like track your emotions and just to actually like remember your life and remember what was going on specific days. So I am definitely advocating for journaling this year. It's so easy to do, it's low cost, it's really free if you think about it. Like if you already got some paper, you already got a pen, you could journal on your phone and your notepads. So I know we be saying journaling a lot on here, but literally it can help you. And it's different types of ways to journal. So just like with the yoga, it might be a way to journal that you haven't thought of. Maybe you want to just put it notes in your calendar for each day to see what was going on. Like that might not be a traditional form of journaling, but it's still something that you might like just to get tidbits of what went on that day and how did you feel. And content creation. So a lot of people are definitely into social media by now if you've been under a rock or something. But social media is not going anywhere. It's only getting bigger. So content creation could be a great hobby for you just to be able to, again, track your life, see what's going on, talk about, your life in a blog style to where it's actually taking you some efforts to make it pretty and make it aesthetically pleasing for whoever you're posting for, your audience. And then the last thing is knitting. So this is something former first lady Michelle Obama talks about a lot. Knitting as one of her hobbies, and it's so like beautiful to be able to see like something that start off as one stitch turn into a whole sweater or turn into a whole blanket. So definitely if you looking for something that maybe can teach you patience, something that requires a lot of concentration, something that's kind of quiet, more chill, laid back, knitting could be a good hobby for you.
I agree with that. As a creative, everybody's saying you need to make money based on the things that you create, and I just don't believe that. I mean, if you make money off of it, cool, but sometimes you just want to do something just to do it. And for me, that's writing. For me, that is creating journals that I probably won't ever put out, but I just create them. For me, that is also, let's say, painting. I know everybody like goes to those painting sips. I have like three of three paintings on, and I only have one of them for myself. My mother has the other one, and then my brother has the other one because they so good.
Yes,
And then of course you can always color and things like that. But just creating something for me always makes me feel good because it's kind of like I just created this. And then you feel proud. You want to show people. But yeah, and then once you do something great one time, it makes you want to do it again and again and again. So yeah.
absolutely. You gotta love creating. Just seeing something start somewhere and end up a totally different place. Such a beautiful process. And in addition to creating, another hobby, or not even hobby, something else you can do to be able to avoid loneliness is read a book. So I know that some people might not be as interested in this. I know for sure this is not something I want to do right now because I already read so much just for school. So I don't really have that same spark and passion. But if you have some time on your hands, or if you want to get lost in something, some people like movies, some people like books. You could get you a book that's gonna be able to maybe take you on a journey, or show you a different story than what you might be living at the current time. Or maybe you want to look at something historical, or maybe you want to read something that's going to help you personally, to help you grow, maybe professionally help you grow. So just some things that I'm looking into reading for the new year. One is the book called The Law of Attraction. A lot of you have probably heard of this book before, but I haven't actually read it. So I want to make sure that I'm like tapping into my manifestation, attracting good things for my life, really trying to focus on my goals and speaking things into existence, and really just embodying like attraction. And then the next one is The Light We Carry, which is by Michelle Obama. She just literally is like finishing her book tour. And this is something that I've seen her have conversations about, like bits and pieces and excerpts. So I want to actually get into reading a book for myself. I read Becoming, and I got the Becoming journal, and I just was so in love with how she had us being so reflective in the journal, and the thought provoking questions. So I can't wait to see what she's talking about in The Light We Carry. I know she talks about motherhood for sure, which is something that, I love to hear about, because I love to understand how other people have been able to like make these connections with their child and instill these beliefs, even though they such like a celebrity or a former first lady. Like, how do they make sure they kids so down to earth? So those are some things that I'm reading in the new year. And again, books are really just good. So you can get lost in something and just kind of escape a little bit from the real world and just get lost in the book.
Yes, I totally agree. So for me, what I just did was I reread my journals because I feel like in order to move forward, you have to reflect on the past. So I wanted to do that. I did that for the new year. And then what I did was I took some of the things that I wanted to carry to the new year. I wrote it down in a separate book in order for me to start the new journal. So it's kind of like some of the things that I didn't accomplish, but I wrote down, I'm carrying them on to the new year's to accomplish those things. So that's one thing that I did as far as reading. Some of the books that I plan on reading for the new year, I don't have the authors, but I do have the titles because I wrote them down. So I plan on reading one book per month. And so I have 12 lists, 12 books on my list. I'm not going to read all of them. I'm probably going to read like the first few. So for starting with The One Thing. Start with Why, Atomic Habits, 12-Week Year, The Power of Now, and The Four Spiritual Laws of Prosperity. So those are just a few books that I plan on reading.
Yes, I love Atomic Habits. I recommend that one. So I know that's gonna be a good read for you. And I feel like when you throw yourself into like especially self-help books, you really do get lost and you start wanting to apply the stuff. So it's getting you away from loneliness, but also bettering your life at the end of the day.
Yes, and to take the reading a step further, I always take notes and I always
Right.
highlight. But to help me not get distracted by that, I just highlight. And then after I read the book, I'll go back and I type up all like the notes and highlights and make extra notes so I can have it. Because I like to revisit books. And
Hmm.
sometimes I know that I don't want to reread the entire book. So I can just look at the outline that I created to get the gems and the points that really stood out to me.
I love that. We love a good system.
Yes. And another thing you can do to avoid loneliness, especially if you live by yourself, is fill your house with noise. It's simple. You can put on
Mm.
music, you can pull up YouTube and listen to some rain sounds or something just to fill the house because it can you can be in there by yourself and like, wait, hold on. I don't hear
Yes.
nothing. And then when you by yourself, you start hearing noise. You like, wait, is somebody in my house?
Wait, is somebody here?
But
Is
yeah,
somebody here?
exactly. So avoid being paranoid. I know I don't really watch TV, but sometimes I would just turn it on just so there can be noise. Yeah.
Same. My friend literally walked in my house the other day and was like, "It's the jungle in here." I was like, "What?" No, I was playing my rain sounds, and well, technically I'm at his house, but I was
Hmm.
laying in his room, and he has the mini home pods, so it's super loud. As soon as you come in, you just hear rain throughout the whole house. So that was pretty funny, but that is something I do at night just because it helps me go to sleep. But during the day while I'm up, when I come in, my friends know, oh, you listening to a podcast. Like, yes, I don't watch
Yeah.
TV that much, but I will listen to a podcast. Um, it's a lot of them, but I think that's it feels like more of you like in a room with somebody while they're having a conversation as opposed to TV. I feel like you have to be way more engaged actively, whereas you want to see it versus a podcast, you could just listen to it. So I definitely second turning on some sounds, whether it's rain, music, or a podcast.
Yes. And another thing that you can do if you just lonely for real, either get your pet or pet sit for somebody else.
Yes,
That's all, pets, whether it's like a dog or a cat or anything of that nature, they are very good companions and they are non-judgmental and they're gonna love up on you as long as you take care of them. So if you don't want to take the responsibility of owning a cat, you can always reach out to somebody who owns one. And if they travel or they just need a break, say, hey, I'll, watch your pet for you for, a day or two and then, give them back.
absolutely. I love watching my best friend's dog. I call it my dog, but it's really not my dog. But yeah, I love the dog like it's my own. But I don't have to like walk it and like clean up poop and stuff. So I second that. If you're not ready for a pet, because they expensive too, depending on what kind of pet you have. And if you really love your pet and take care of your pet. But definitely can get a pet or pet sit. I pet sitted my friend that lives where I live for my PhD program. I pet sitted her dog for a weekend and it was pretty cool too. And then I was actually having to walk in and stuff and pick up poop. I was like, I could get this back in 2 days. So definitely recommend that. And then the last thing I would say to avoid loneliness is try gardening or being in nature with some plants. because this can help you to, you might not think of it as a living thing, but plants are really living things. So you have to like talk to them and water them and put them in enough sunlight. And it just helps you to feel like, okay, I'm here with another living creature, even if it's not a person or an animal. And I know for me, like I get really into my plants now. And like I have a lucky bamboo. I'm actually about to repot it for the new year, but you start wanting to like treat your plants good and, oh, I'm gonna get you a new pot, or okay, let me move you to a better spot. You need some more love. So again, it just helps you to feel like, okay, I'm not alone. I got my plants, like I care about them, they care about me, we care about each other.
Yes, I totally agree. And if you one of those people who feel like I don't have a green thumb, I'm scared, I'm not gonna keep it alive. There are certain plants that they won't die. Not to say you can't just like water them and stuff, but some plants are hard to kill. So if you kill that plant, you might just want to get out.
Yeah.
Sit this out. But you can always Google like plants that are good in any environment, whether it's outside or
Mhm.
in the house. So just to get your feet wet, get started to see how that goes, and then advance to more, plants where you actually have to take care of them. So baby steps.
Yes. I don't have a green thumb. I had to start with the lucky bamboo because my other plants I did kill them before. But this one I'm doing great. Like we have a great relationship and I take care of it. So yeah, start with something like some bamboo or something very low maintenance at first and then work your way up, because plants do require a lot of attention depending on what type of plant you get. So just look up low maintenance plants and you should be fine. But yes, those are just some of the ways that we can avoid loneliness. Nakia, did you want to add anything?
Yes, I wanted to say, as much as you can, especially during the winter time, please get out of your house and get some sun.
Mhm.
Because the sun goes down a lot earlier. We're not getting as much vitamin D as we should. So to help boost your mood, try to be outside when the sun is out, just to get it together. I know it's hard, especially like if it is raining or if it's like really cloudy and stuff outside. So anytime that the sun is shining, even if it's just for 5 minutes, just go outside, soak that up, because it's scarce in the winter time. So yeah, that's the only thing I'm gonna say.
I second that. I know it's a lot of times where I'm like just getting up, maybe at like 2 p.m. I'm like, dang, the sun about to go. I didn't waste my whole day. So definitely get outside as much as you can in the wintertime, especially if it's like cloudy that day, because that's gonna take even more of the sunlight that you would have had had it not been winter anyway. So yeah, thank y'all for coming and listening to our episode all about avoiding loneliness. I hope these tips really help y'all. Make sure y'all also go follow us on social media at 21 minutes or less on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And then on YouTube, you can type in 21 minutes or less podcast. And then you can go follow our personal pages. Mine is at Keisha Milana.
And mine is at Miss Butterfly 21 MISS.
And we'll see y'all on the next episode.